相信上一场大家也是确实。
其实上一场咱们都已经预料到了，他就
说实话，上一场的话，先你不说阵容，你就说打到就是说是你。
Hi Damasa, we're back at LPL EN covering the LPL Expansion Tournament. I'm Froskurinn, your host and play-by-play caster for the night, joined on the desk. Excuse me, desk. Joined on the cast by Rise. Raz, kill me.
Okay, let me just first say that like my friends have made like such a long joke that I'm basically Rise, so you're not even like far off in that one.
It's late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I still got another best of series after this one. We are in the middle of the best of series. World Elite Academy versus Gamtee. World Elite Academy going into this to be the favorite. Gamtee actually upsetting with WEA surrendering at 30 minutes.
That was yeah, quite the game. Like honestly, that was like the most ridiculous thing. I can't believe, I feel like every time I expect one team to really show dominance and experience and like basically some sort of continuity from how they used to play, it's like I'm always wrong. And World Elite Academy is proving that nope, they're gonna lose to Gamtee. Like, I can't even fathom that from what I've seen in the LSPL. That's just not something I would imagine. But you know what? Let's throw everything out the window.
So as far as concerning that last game, we talked a lot about the Galio top. Do you think that that was a big issue in World Elite Academy's kind of unraveling? Because if you actually looked at the mid lane, Xie's LeBlanc did not take off against the Rise.
It's 100% why. Because, like, I think I always go back to mentioning how it was used in the TGA LSPL qualifiers. It's not a first pick by any means. You cannot first pick the Galio. You have to wait on essential AP picks from the enemy team. Like LeBlanc was that pick that they immediately saw. Usually it's a Rise that they would love to pick the Galio into, but they picked up the Rise first, and then they saw that LeBlanc was picked in for whatever reason. LeBlanc, really, you have to wait. Probably LeBlanc just seems like a last pick at any point of any game in pick bans. So the moment they saw it, they were like, okay, we're going for Galio. It just seems like a smarter pick, and they were able to just control the early fights easily. So yeah, it felt like it was just pretty much GG from champion select, and they were able to use their team play accordingly. So that was
How do you
nice.
feel about Gamtee kind of reinventing their style? Previously in the tournament, we saw them. They came out very controlled, very slow-paced game. Both of their games had a first blood that came after the 15-minute marker. This time around came out at 3:50, so almost completely night and day as far as play styles. Do you think we'll continue to see that type of aggression? Or does this show that Gamtee is actually much more versed in various styles than was previously suspected?
I feel like we can only make that really a decision on that once Mystic decides not to give him up free first bloods, because they give him a free advantage, and I guess Gamtee really was you could give it to give it off to Gamtee that they were able to take that advantage and use it correctly and force dragons, but they had such a great composition for doing so. So once they got the lead, they were really able to. They had the confidence. So it's nice to see something different from the team. So yeah, it really is, like, I guess they reinvented themselves in that sense, and I want to see how they're able to take that into the next game.
And on your screen right now, we do have World Elite Academy again. That is Mystic in the, I'm going to say blonde hair there, the jungler for World Elite Academy. Likewise, the coach is now talking to Khan, their Korean top laner, formerly known as Hambalong from Prime Optimus.
By the way, I still have, in my picture folder, I still have like a picture of Mystic during the, what tournament? It was like Masters tournament when they had like the showing for each player, kind of like this, the introduction, and he just looked pretty fly, I'm not gonna lie. He looked pretty good. So I still have it. I might just spam it on my Twitter feed there. But yeah, Mystic is, I want to see success from him. I do.
I too carry around pictures of my favorite players for the occasional Twitter spam, but here we go. Don't have to dwell on that. We are into picks and ban. Again, it's going to be Gamtee this time around on the blue side. It's going to be World Elite Academy on the red side. Gamtee 1 game up in this best of 3, so it is game, set, and match for them to win this game and to qualify for the LPL. Lee Sin taken off the board. Mystic is not going to be finding that champion.
Instantly, Mystic is sad. Like, he's not going to be able to get the Lee Sin. It's a really smart ban. You just like put him on an uncomfortable pick, and you saw that with the his play on Kha'Zix, it just wasn't up to par. So we'll see if he's able to do much off of that. The Zillion ban goes down, the Xerath, please, the Zed ban. So that's going to be interesting how that works out.
So obviously there's a lot of interpretation how you can kind of bend and say some of these champions' names. You thought I was totally going somewhere different with that, but now I'm going champions' names. If you ever notice, I say Shyvana as opposed to Shyvana.
Now
I had to like honestly think about how other people say it. Have you noticed that you say Kha'Zix?
Yeah, I do actually.
and it's funny too because I've never heard that interpretation. I've heard Jats like Midwestern like. How does he say it? Kha'Zix?
Kha'Zix?
But I've never heard...
I saw that.
I've never heard the
Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix.
I don't know why I say it like that. I think I'm just lazy. I think I just like to skip a few syllables in
Just
there.
ram that all together. Finishing up this pick and ban phase, we've got Twitch, Nart, and Jace taking off the table, and that's going to be the first pick Rise. We saw a huge success last game with Gamtee on that pick because it's a flex pick that can go top. Key has shown that he can play a successful Rise in the mid lane. I doubt that we'll see another LeBlanc into that.
Yeah, I think they're not going to get baited in this champ select. It honestly reminds me of way back when, what was it? It was Frost versus, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to reach back. It was just basically, you don't want to get baited so easily into picking very counter-picked champions like a LeBlanc or a Riven when you could, like, so early, and you have to wait for the last pick. And World Elite has last pick here, so they can honestly wait for that key mid laner. So they can do it.
Likewise, Mystic is going to try round 2 on his Kha'Zix, as well as the Janna pickup for Yushe. So not going to go for that Nami. Kind of lackluster. Didn't find a lot of his skill shots. Delayed Nami ultimates, missed the bubble on several key fights. So maybe this Janna pick will work up a little bit better for him.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Jaina pick. No, okay, that was horrible. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, the Jaina pick is really good. It really does open a lot of options. Please don't. There we go. That's the Tristana. I was like hoping that he wasn't trying to fake me out with that Tristana pick, but he finally does end up going with it. I think it was just because you weren't going off on how like Tristana got nerfed this time around, so he didn't have that you as like a kind of a consciousness to like sit him down on that fact. We do see an Ezreal and a Syndra pick going on.
Well, this does tell me that with a Tristana pick that they're looking for a more self-sufficient AD carry, not taking the Kog'Maw, so we may not see a Galio this time around, as well as like a front-down lock. Yeah, see, this makes sense. So if they take this Twisted Fate and this Cassidy, obviously there's not a lot of peel potential for the Tristana, so they needed an AD carry that could take care of itself.
Oh god, I was like, for instance, I was like, wait, Twisted Fate, but there's a Rise. Wait, Cassidy, who's the jungler? We see a Fiddlesticks. This is okay. No, Jarvan makes more sense.
Oh please, Katarina, spin me round, baby.
Baby, is that you? There we go.
That is a Katarina into a Syndra pick.
Okay,
walk me through it, Raz.
Pretty bad. This is actually pretty unfortunate. I feel like Syndra should win out in this most of the time. It depends on the skill. It could be a skill matchup. It depends, but Katarina will struggle. Baby from EDGF tend to pick Katarina into any matchup, regardless of the like as to it being a counter pick, getting counter picked or whatever. He just feels like he's skillful enough on the champion to really outplay, and he is. So let's just see if Key is just as confident. So.
Finding that Aurelia, so it will be the Rise Aurelia matchup, and again that Katarina Syndra matchup in the mid lane. Give it to me. I'm gonna pull TC Nubbinz. Where is our featured matchup, Raz? I almost did it again. I almost went for the Rise. To be fair, the Rise is in this game.
Yeah, I just want to rename myself to Rise at this point.
You missed an opportunity.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I missed so many opportunities in my life. Just add that to the bunch. But yeah, this is interesting. This is an interesting comp out of both teams. I'm not really a fan of the Tristana, but I feel like Gamtee is going back to their late game kind of alliance.
I don't think they ever left it, but surprisingly got the ball going pretty quickly the last game. We'll see if maybe that happens again. World Elite Academy, because this is the set that could put them into the losers bracket, do you think they're going to play super safe right now? I mean, obviously last game we didn't see any sort of invades, but there is a different mentality when you're in the the last game possibly of a series.
I don't think they're going to be playing super safely, but I do think they're going to be playing a lot more objectively. Like I think Mystic, I was just about to call him Quish, but I think Mystic is going to be playing a lot smarter. Because, like, even though he went in early last game into the jungle, it was a smart idea in the sense that he should have had LeBlanc with him. Like, LeBlanc had pushed out that lane pretty much as a constant. So I guess they just didn't have the communication to really take advantage. They were on different pages for whatever reason. But this time, there could be a difference. Who knows? It just really depends on how that Katarina is gonna go. So I think, oh wow, the Tail's actually just getting booked down here by MSNLT.
And already out of the gate, Tail is almost half health here, just taking 2 Mystic shots from Ezreal. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Khan and Let Me also trading back quite a bit of damage. So it may not be too many invades across the board, but definitely people getting friendly in their lanes.
Okay, for a second. Okay, alright. Every lane seems to be having a bit of a smack fest. It allows the bottom lane to actually put a ward down in the red side jungle, so...
They will know where the jungler's starting. See how they take advantage of that information going forward.
That was actually really solid. For a good while, I thought, I was like, okay, this is not going to amount to anything. We just see smack fests all over the map, but... Yeah, Tristana getting destroyed at that point. I don't want to say destroyed, but just really taking a lot of free damage allowed them to be able to get that free information.
With that red ward down, they will know that Jarvan is going to be starting his blue buff again. It's all about how World Elite Academy is going to use that information. The 2v2 will be starting. Oh, an instant damage down on that Nami, half health, and that should be the lane and the easy level 2 advantage for Ezreal and Janna as Nami is forced to pot up.
Alright, folks, never face check a bush. This is something you should have learned pre-30. I guess no one expects it. Like, who would expect the Janna Ezreal just sitting at the end of the bush? But who knows, man. Just take whatever lead you get. She is healing back off with her W, though. That's always nice.
Did have expend a lot of mana to do so as well, and does have the pot disadvantage compared to Janna.
And of course, Tristana is going to be able to push out the lane naturally, just because I guess she leveled her
Explosive shot?
Explosive shots. Yeah. See, I'm not.
I got the Tristana. It's just the the Galio that kind of throws me off. Stone face Galio ult.
I swear, if you knew like the names for like Galio abilities, I would have just like.
Bulwark?
I would have been. Yep. I would have been so
one.
surprised. There we go.
I'm surprised I knew the ultimate name for Warwick.
Warwick.
Because usually sometimes that happens in game, it just turns into a string of curse words.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which one random champion. Okay, like Poppy. Who will?
Diplomacy of Demacia is the ultimate, I believe.
Diplomacy. I feel like you're close. I don't
diplomatic.
know.
It's something diplomatic immunity or something like along that line.
I think it is. I think it is diplomatic immunity. Fairly
Perhaps.
certain. Yeah.
Do you have a bit of a possible tower dive? It looks like Jarvan's just going to walk away from that. That said,
Yeah.
Mystic now looking at the bot lane. Tail flashing way into Mystic. That's the first blood. Completely different turnaround this time for Mystic.
The flash off of Nami too. That was pretty bad off of that bottom lane. Yeah, they pushed out without a ward. I guess, of course, you can't expect them to have a ward at that point of the game, but they really shouldn't be pushing out that far without sufficient information.
Likewise, in the top lane, Khan's starting to feel a little bit of pressure against a ranged opponent like Ryze, taking a little bit too many Qs in the face, but here comes the flag and drag, flashes out of it, so it isn't CC'd up, but there's the flash and possibly the teleport if he wants to get back in time for that minion wave.
Yeah, but this is actually working out pretty well. It's a give and take from both sides. And Key, will he get jumped on? No. He does get a bit of damage taken, maybe? I feel like that only did like 8 damage from, but I guess I shouldn't expect much there.
I believe that Shumpo gives Katarina MR and armor for a short duration after the spell is cast, so I think that was also why.
Oh, that could have been it. I didn't even notice.
Because he dodged the Scout of the Week with the Shumpo.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense then. I was actually really surprised by the lack of damage, and I was like, okay, I didn't take that one.
They might have changed it recently, though. I'll have to go back and check the patch notes, because I know that there was a trick, like when Karthus was going to ult, Katarina would set down a ward and wait until the Karthus ult was going to proc, and then Shumpo to the ward to proc the extra resistances.
Okay, see, that's really smart. I never actually thought of that. But I'm not a Katarina player, so I feel like when I play Katarina, I just press buttons and then realize, oh, I think I just canceled something I shouldn't have. It's just like you gotta pay attention to these things apparently.
We talked about the Sona of bot lane on Graves, the Sona of mid lane on Katarina, as by Raz.
Oh, and yeah, this lane's just getting bullied out. Katarina can't do much. She does have a lot of pods on her, so she can sustain up a bit and stay in the lane. She is pretty far behind CS-wise.
And speaking of far behind, Tail just getting bullied out from SMLZ. Does not have the flash available. They've now turned on to Nami. Here comes the Janna flash. We'll be able to pick this one up. Another kill from SMLZ.
There we go.
Meanwhile, the top lost his TP advantage, so fortunately, Gamtee didn't look that direction for Rise to help out the bot lane. So strong in the top lane, weak in the bot lane. See how this snowballs into the Dragon.
I want to see how they clash. Yeah, just like as they both come into the, not even just the mid lane, but just I guess meet midway. No, I guess they kind of have to meet in the mid lane. Okay, whatever. And that just went downhill pretty quickly. But yeah, well, hopefully they'll be looking for a Dragon World Elite.
Oh wow,
God.
and a solo
Katarina.
kill goes down into the mid lane. I think that was with the Syndra ultimate as the Ignite and ultimate is down. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Jarvan is sitting in the wings looking for this Khan gank. Khan does not have flash available should he choose to pull the trigger. He does have eyes on Mystic, so no idea what he's waiting for at all. Zero clue.
Yeah. This game was, I feel like picking Katarina is so questionable, obviously. I guess everyone's going to be questioning it.
We are going to have the replay on this, though. So, yep, into Scout of the Week. Q goes down. Ignite has enough balls. There's the, oh, wow, we actually just auto-attacks him to death. There's the enough balls down to proc the ultimate and get decent damage right there. Auto-attacks him to death.
Yep, Katarina just had no chance there.
I should have said orbs.
Orbs, balls, I don't know. Always works out. I was just talking about, like, Rod's last game, so I don't know what else to say. Mine's is far worse. Yeah, this game is looking pretty bad for Gamtee right off the bat, mostly because of the bot lane. But he is able to keep up somewhat in CS-wise, Tristana that is. So it shouldn't be too bad as long as he keeps up and doesn't take too much of a harass. And he, as I say that, he takes a Q to the face, so...
Everything's calming down a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see how World Elite Academy is able to run away with this lead down bottom again. I feel like they should be pressuring jungle. They do have great ward control on the bot side river right there.
Yeah, straight under the turret. Tails will be able to get quite a bit of farm. He is behind 10 CS. But yeah, this is interesting. I really want to see this Katarina succeed. Because I mean, if he's gonna pick it into the Syndra, you kind of have to, just have like.
Oh, but wait, flash forward from Let Me Khan. Now, Solo does turn around, get the stun. Will he be able to walk away? Don't know because we're looking at bottom, and I'm gonna assume yes.
Okay, at this point, I just have to believe that they don't have a cameraman. It has to be a direct to camera because it just at this point doesn't seem believable.
He's so upset that it's not Galio top that there's no reason for him to watch top lane again.
Pretty much. He's like, has no reason to live anymore. He's like, why am I even the cameraman of this game? I mean, really.
Fairly important, though, is the fact that Khan, didn't have the TP advantage. It is back up now, so both top laners have TP. Has stayed even on CS, despite being forced out of lane twice.
Yeah, and it could be I feel like... Ezreal going into the Blade of the Ruin King is interesting. He didn't get the tier. I guess there's a lot of ways you can build Ezreal, I guess. So I'm kind of wondering if this was... Because he did have the massive advantage early. He could have gone in for the tier. But, oh well.
Maybe going for the early battle stats to continue to press his advantage, which he is dictating this lane. Has a good 10 CS lead. Pings are now going down for Dragon. It is warded, so we'll see if Gamtee's able to put up a fight here. Jarvan is looking into position, but Dragon's getting burned down pretty quickly at about half health right now. Will we find the steal? Jarvan positioning at the back. Here comes the teleport.
Yep.
Distant wave knocks him up, but there's the Dragon. Will they turn now? Jarvan getting locked up. Flag and Dragon to the middle. Xie taking huge damage, but starting to walk out on the back half of the fight. No one going down so far, just both teams trading across a couple of ultimates. Dragon in favor of World Academy.
That was perfectly played by Kha'Zix. He was able to actually. Is Khan gonna be? No, okay. He's fairly safe there. But yeah, Kha'Zix, after taking the Dragon, he jumped immediately on the Dragon before Dragon was able to take the finishing blow onto Xie. So that was, yeah, Mystic is showing that he's not the worst Kha'Zix. He's actually fairly good if he makes the right decisions.
Obviously did not get tripped up early by feeding First Blood this time around. Much better performance from Elite Academy so far. I should say much better start, as they are 0-4 up and have a close to 5k gold advantage in their favor.
Yeah, this game at the 10-minute mark is looking to be, I wouldn't say a stomp, but it's looking pretty good for World Elite Academy, as they hope to really take this game to Game 3. Rise is stacking up his tier. At the 10-minute mark, I guess he's trying to look for his rod at this point.
And again, winner of this game will join Vici Gaming and Energy Pacemaker as one of the 4 teams to qualify for the LPL, so a lot on the line here.
A lot, man, a lot, so much. These teams are just working so hard to get out of ELO hell of LSPL, which honestly is not. Like LSPL is fun and all, it really is, but like the LPL gives you that opportunity to get into Worlds. Like that's what everyone really wants to, like that's the goal, that's the main goal. And as far as much as everyone would love the LSPL in comparison to the amateur scene. Oh wait, actually here comes a fight in the bottom lane. Okay, yeah, they're completely fine. But yeah, as fine as the LSPL is, the LPL is like just the gold medal. And yep, it looks pretty.
Sorry, I had to yawn right there.
Oh, no worries. It's pretty standard here. Tail is actually finally getting an edge out in this lane.
Definitely across the board, we're starting to have some of the core. Ooh, actually, Mystic sneaky move, kind of stealths past him now, looking back onto Let Me. Will he be able to put out the burst damage to trade 1-for-1? Does not find it, and it's going to go over to Aurelia, so finally putting Khan back into this game.
Well, that was pretty stylish, man. I did not see that one coming. That was so good. He's gonna like have to watch these VODs and like, how did he get behind me? I just walked past that bush. What? He's just gonna realize that he just got outplayed there. Yeah, this game is looking pretty solid. Jarvan's not really able to get anything going on in this game. In fact, he seems MIA for the most part. He's zoning up to the top lane to really stop this push here, and to really get the experience off the wave. But that really gives World Elite Academy the opportunity to steal out this blue buff.
What do you do as far as Gamtee at this point? They do have a late game scaling composition, so they still have the power spike of Rise coming, as well as Tristana late game, although, hold on a second, Tail may not make it to late game as he is ignited, forced to bounce out, dodges the True Shot Barrage, but a nice disengage from Nami is forced to save his life, and SMLZ may still be on the chase here with Ezreal. Nope, think he's fine.
Yeah, he should be alright. Yeah. Honestly, the biggest problem...
hold on, though.
Oh.
We have a rotation from Xie. May find Key out in enemy jungle territory, but this is surely going to mean the bottom tier tower for World Academy. Meanwhile, Khan, knowing that resources are tied up in the bottom, is able to just go hard on Let Me.
This game's starting to open up, but they start to head back. Alright, it just really... Honestly, the biggest problem with this composition is that they have the Katarina. If Katarina had gotten ahead, this would have been perfectly fine, but now that they're far behind, or at least, yeah, they're pretty far behind, they don't have the necessary wave clear to really elongate this game and get this, like, at least wait on, I wouldn't say the late game, but just for certain items to really just hit through. So,
although, hold on, we have the 1v1. Key is going to drop the Death Lotus, but quickly uses a ward to Shumpo out of there. Does not want any of Xie, which means that it is going to be a free mid-tier tower as well as the bot-tier tower. So 2 up on global structural objectives. Dragon in 130.
Yep, this is not looking good. SMLZ and yeah, well, it looks like the bot lane's just going to go back and they're going to be able to get their items. They should be looking to really clear the wards out from the Dragon area. There are a few pinks hiding around here. Yeah, Mystic's going to be able to get that. And just really prep for the next Dragon. This will be the moment for World Elite to really just soar ahead in this game, and this should be the moment for, hopefully, Gamtee to, well, for them to maybe get an edge, like just put the foot in the door to see if they can find a way to get this game going for them.
Very solid. We do have a couple of pings picked up, like you said, from World League Academy. See where they're going to posture those around the Dragon to try to deny vision here. Meanwhile, again, in the top lane, Khan deciding to just really stick it to Let Me. Blade surges ahead onto a creep to try to get the walk onto him. Orb walking perfectly, flashes forward and takes the kill.
There we go. Yeah, that was really well played, actually. Oof, that blade surge onto the minion, like putting him ahead, was super well played. And so now that lane's going to be snowballing, and it's a perfectly timed one too, because 20 seconds, and we'll have the the dragon dance going. And they're just denying so much vision here. This is a really well played. Actually, they're going to be looking for the mid tier first.
Looking for the mid inner. Will Key look at this? He is kind of scoping it out, looking for the flank. Maybe a Shimpo entrance is going to force World Elite Academy to back off, but the Dragon has spawned, so surely they will be falling back to that more important objective. We'll see if Gamtee can get into position. Ooh, hold on a second though. Jarvan does eat a Scatter of the Weak. Unfortunately, Xie does not follow it up.
This is really looking bad for Gamtee. Oh, wait, there we go. The Dragon uncontested. World Elite's gonna just pick it up. So is this going to be a perfect game for them? Well, they have all of their towers up. World Elite has all of their towers up. They have no kills put onto them. So whoever dies first on World Elite is just, they're off the team. Like, no questions asked. They're literally just feeders. Like,
this is how we bench people here.
Yeah.
Do
like,
have
whoever does it.
Do you have the next wave come in to see how World Elite Academy is going to pressure this tower? Oh, Jarvan going in, Cataclysm on 2 members, gets blown back by the Monsoon, may have actually saved his life, and here comes the Death Lotus onto SMLZ, completely eliminates him, but Key is the next person to fall. It's now Tail that actually leaps forward into it. He immediately regrets his decision and flashes back out, but Khan is going to follow up with the Blade Surge. World Elite Academy coming out barely even, never mind.
Oh.
One tower tick takes Khan down. It is a 2-for-3 exchange in favor of WEA. We'll see if they're able to push down the tower. Looks like they are going to go for it. So barely come out even in the fight, but they do get the structural objective. That's now 3 towers up for 0.
And will they be able to get the no, actually, what am I talking about? They should be able to push down the bottom lane, maybe? Or no, they're just going to head back, actually.
They need to, I think, backspin their gold after, because you have to think, they just got the mid-tier tower as well as the dragon, so they got a lot of global objective right there, as well as the bonus kills. Easiest objective on the map will be the top outer turret.
Yeah, and they're, puzzlingly enough, it looks like they're just stuck in the bottom lane. It looks like they could actually get something off the Tristana if they wait long enough. Ooh, this is really tense.
Pings are going down for Nami or Triss. It's now going to be about which squishy face checks first.
Please.
Here comes the True Shot Barrage to help out a little bit.
Please, cameraman, show what is... Come on. Alright, okay.
I think they smelled something was up.
Yeah. I would have loved to have seen that situation, but yeah, all is well. It looks like Rise is going to be able to just... Jarvan is sitting a little bit far behind. He's expecting the Aurelia to be there just so he can really come in for a gank. But no, he's just going to back away.
Gamtee, again, still not quite out of this yet, even though it is 2-9, although, as I say that, Khan, again, going hard on Let Me in the top lane. A nice Rune Prison is able to disengage from that, but he will not be able to stand and hold that tower, and as I say so, a lot of World Elite Academy members, again, rotating up to get that last standing outer, SMLZ. Now on the chase, forcing people out. Looks like they're going to contest the blue buff.
Yeah, it should be theirs. There's nothing they can do about it. They have too much power at World Elite Academy. And 4-1-1 Aurelia, a 3-0-1 Kha'Zix, like this is simply too much for them to handle. It's well, yeah, they're gonna be able to get the top lane tower here.
And with a resounding tower fall, that is 4 structural objectives to none for World Elite Academy, closing in on a 10k gold lead at just under 20 minutes into this game, which is massive. We may be going to game 3.
Yeah, this will be pretty interesting how that works out. I guess World Elite Academy, honestly, I kind of favored them to win. This was their game to shine. And finally, when you see, I guess it's not really standard because of course they had the Katarina, but when they played something that is not so cheesy, they stand like you can see them really suffering. So we'll see how picks and bans go for the next game. If they do tend to if they do lose this one out. So, ooh.
Do have Gamtee playing fairly safe right now. Usually trying to find a pick there with the John, does not find it thanks to a nice rocket jump from Tail. But Gamtee, of course, setting up to turtle here, waiting for these waves to be pressured down. Maybe get a little bit cheeky with this pink ward, looking for World Elite Academy. Straggler as they mosey down to this bot lane tower. Don't find it right there. And again, reposture and try to defend this tower. Scatterleak does connect with Jarvan, doesn't follow it up, but huge damage onto Yushe. It's all about the Death Lotus and how it's going to be used. If Katarina does not get a good ultimate here, it's pretty much good night, sweet prince for Gamtee.
Yeah, pretty much. This is basically, if they're going to commit to this tower, which they shouldn't, yeah, they're going to be backing away here. But if they're going to, they have to commit on this inhib tower. And if they do, of course, they obviously need to win out. But it's so important for this one specifically, because if they lose a fight here, they lose the game. They can just simply push in for the Nexus turret, so it should be very well. Actually, just gonna back away here. Yeah, Wings of Aurora. World Elite Academy is gonna back away just to play this game a little safely here.
And surely the next big point of contention is going to be that dragon that's spawning up for 1 minute. So we do see Wings of Aurora, otherwise known as World Elite Academy, staggering the backs. Hopefully we'll see them pick up a few pink wards, couple sweeper upgrades as they control vision over that objective. If they make a pick here, this could mean Baron for them as well as the snowball for the game.
Honestly, Gamtee should not be contesting this dragon pick. I guess they really will try. It depends on how much they favor the next fight, because if they do win one team fight, obviously they will have a massive edge in a game. And they have Katarina, and Katarina with a good amount of AoE, like I guess that's Ryze's Q to really open up on a fight, then she can just open up with a massive amount of damage due to her cooldown reduction and just general like resets. So
unfortunately, Gamtee really has to take control back of their own jungle, and they've been unable to clear out a lot of these wards just due to the fact that it's unsafe to go in there. You talk about World Elite Academy's composition, it's focused primarily around picks. You have a very giant Syndra right now, and they pretty much have safety in their base but can't go anywhere else.
In fact, I just kind of expect a tower dive. Yeah, this dragon's just going to go down easy peasy. But once they go back into... Oh, actually, really is going to go up into the top lane and take a tower. Will she be able to get it for free? No, the wave is Yeah, the wave is kind of massive, actually. I did not even realize that.
So, World Elite Academy making a rotation for the last standing outer tower on the top lane. Surely Gamtee are going to let this one go as they've been failing to contest any of their structural objectives.
Oof, this is a red buff on Ezreal too, so his pokes will be pretty massive. He doesn't have a tier on him for a Muramana, but nonetheless, this is like a lot of damage you can't be taking off of it. Nami just gets chunked off of it. Let me has to back away a little bit and just heal up with his pots.
They're starting to heal up. The Cataclysm is available again. It's all about how the Cataclysm and the Death Lotus will be used in synergy, and Gamtee kind of need to pull the trigger right now, otherwise they're just going to passively lose the game. World Elite Academy are doing a 4-1 split push. Khan in that mid lane, prepping the next wave to try to create 2 different pressure points. Gamtee has to act unless they want to just continue to eat the poke. Yeah, but Key is caught up and just eliminated there. A Nami ultimate completely whiffed, so there's 1 down. And World Elite Academy back away from the tower. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Khan on the inhibitor line is forced off from a flank from Let Me, but this is surely going to be the outer tower top from World Elite Academy as they actually turn back for Baron.
Well then, this is like old Gamtee, like in the showing. Like, why would they do that? Like, they just had to make a decision. Like, as soon as possible, they just had to commit to starting the 4v5.
No, hold on though, because the Baron is down to 25% HP. Jarvan is in the air. Will we possibly steal a steal? He is behind the pit, and will he get in? No, goes down, so they don't have to smite. Mystic is still on the Baron. It's still alive. Smite goes down, but it's actually in the hands of Janna. Wasn't where she was running. That SMLZ caught up by a bubble. Khan may fall right here. Does go down to the Buster Shop, but Ryze will be traded as SMLZ. Essence Flux into that. Likewise, Tristana goes down to Mystic. SMLZ now on the chase will pick up this Nami. Just waiting on his cooldowns. There he goes. And that is a 4-for-1 trade in favor of WEA.
Good old. Oh wait, I just. Oh, okay, there we go. Perfect.
Two surrenders
game
back to back, and it is now 1-1 as World Elite Academy fight back for the last set of the game.
Yep, World Electronic Arts take this game. This is pretty much. This is a back and forth. It just depends on the early snowball. Whoever takes the early snowball, because I feel like neither teams can really deal with being behind at all. Even if it's the slightest disadvantage, then the map just opens up to whoever is has gotten that early lead, and it just feels like either teams will just be happy, just like sitting back and just getting pushed in. So.
With that, we are into the final game 3. Again, whoever wins here will be qualified for the LPL. It's either going to be Gamtee or World Elite Academy. Loser isn't out. Dreams are not dead. They will just move down into the losers bracket and will face in the very next series following this. We'll be right. Formerly known as Hambelong from Prime Optimus.
By the way, I still have in my picture folder. I still have like a picture of Mystic during the what tournament? It was like Masters tournament when they had like the showing for each player, kind of like this, the introduction, and he just looked pretty fly. I'm not gonna lie, he looked pretty good. So I still have it. I might just spam it on my Twitter feed there. But yeah, Mystic is. I want to see success from him. I do.
I too carry around pictures of my favorite players for the occasional Twitter spam, but here we go. Don't have to dwell on that. We are into picks and ban. Again, it's going to be Gamtee this time around on the blue side. It's going to be World Elite Academy on the red side. Gamtee 1 game up in this best of 3, so it is game, set, and match for them to win this game and to qualify for the LPL. Lee Sin taken off the board. Mystic is not going to be finding that champion.
Instantly, Mystic is sad. Like, he's not going to be able to get the Lee Sin. It's a really smart ban. You just like put him on an uncomfortable pick, and you saw that with the his play on Kha'Zix. It just wasn't up to par. So we'll see if he's able to do much off of that. The Zillion ban goes down. The Xerath, please. The Zed ban. So that's gonna be interesting how that works out.
So obviously there's a lot of interpretation.
相信上一场大家也是确实。
其实上一场咱们都已经预料到了，他就
说实话，上一场的话，先你不说阵容，你就说打到就是说是你。
Hi Damasa, we're back at LPL EN covering the LPL Expansion Tournament. I'm Froskurinn, your host and play-by-play caster for the night, joined on the desk, joined on the cast by Rise. Raz, kill me.
Okay, let me just first say that like my friends have made like such a long joke that I'm basically Rise, so you're not even like far off in that one.
It's late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I still got another best of series after this one. We are in the middle of the best of series. World Elite Academy versus Gamtee. World Elite Academy going into this to be the favorite. Gamtee actually upsetting with WEA surrendering at 30 minutes.
That was yeah, quite the game. Like honestly, that was like the most ridiculous thing. I can't believe. I feel like every time I expect one team to really show dominance and experience and like basically some sort of continuity from how they used to play, it's I'm always wrong. And World Elite Academy is proving that nope, they're gonna lose to Gamtee. Like, I can't even fathom that from what I've seen in the LSPL. That's just not some
interpretation how you can kind of bend and say some of these champions' names. You thought I was totally going somewhere different with that, but now I'm going champions' names. If you ever notice, I say Shavana as opposed to Shyvana.
Now
I had to like honestly think about how other people say it. Have you noticed that you say Kha'Zix?
Yeah, I do actually.
and it's funny too because I've never heard that interpretation. I've heard Jats like Midwestern like. How does he say it? Kha'Zix?
Kha'Zix?
But I've never heard...
I saw that.
I've never heard
the
Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix? I don't know why I say it like that. I think I'm just lazy. I think I just like to skip a few syllables in there.
Just ram that all together. Finishing up this pick and ban phase, we got Twitch, Nart, and Jace taken off the table, and that's going to be the first pick Rise. We saw a huge success last game with Gamtee on that pick because it's a flex pick that can go top. Key has shown that he can play a successful Rise in the mid lane. I doubt that we'll see another LeBlanc into that.
Yeah, I think they're not going to get baited in this champ select. It honestly reminds me of way back when, what was it? It was Frost versus, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to reach back. It was just basically, you don't want to get thing I would imagine. But you know what? Let's throw everything out the window.
So as far as considering that, like, last game, we talked a lot about the Galio top. Do you think that that was a big issue in World Elite Academy's kind of unraveling? Because if you actually looked at the mid lane, Xie's LeBlanc did not take off against the Rise.
It's 100% why. Because, like, I think I always go back to mentioning how it was used in the TGA LSPL qualifiers. It's not a first pick by any means. You cannot first pick the Galio. You have to wait on essential AP picks from the enemy team. Like LeBlanc was that pick that they immediately saw. Usually it's a Rise that they would love to pick the Galio into, but they picked up the Rise first, and then they saw that LeBlanc was picked in for whatever reason. LeBlanc, really, you have to wait. Probably LeBlanc just seems like a last pick at any point in any game in pick bans. So the moment they saw it, they were like, okay, we're going for Galio. It just seems like a smarter pick, and they were able to just control the early fights easily. So yeah, it felt like it was just pretty much GG from champion select, and they were able to use their team play accordingly. So that was
How do you
nice.
feel about Gamtee kind of reinventing their style? Previously in the tournament, we saw them. They came out very controlled, very slow-paced game. Both of their games had a first blood that came after the 15-minute marker. This time around came out at 3:50, so almost completely night and day as far as play styles. Do you think we'll continue to see that type of aggression? Or does this show that Gamtee is actually much more versed in various styles than was previously suspected?
I feel like we can only make that really a decision on that once Mystic decides not to give him up free first bloods, because they give him a free advantage, and I guess Gamtee really was you can give it to give it off to Gamtee that they were able to take that advantage and use it correctly and force dragons, but they had such a great composition for doing so. So once they got the lead, they were really able to. They had the confidence. So it's nice to see something different from the team. So yeah, it really is, like, I guess they reinvented themselves in that sense, and I want to see how they're able to take that into the next game.
And on your screen right now, we do have World Elite Academy again. That is Mystic in the, I'm going to say blonde hair there, the jungler for World Elite Academy. Likewise, the coach is now talking to Khan, their Korean top laner.